In this challenge review, we're going to go ahead and solve the speed program. So the first thing we need is a variable to define what our speed is. So we'll have a public float speed, and actually I'm going to make this an int so that we can increment it using whole numbers. So public int speed is set to 0. And basically what we have to do now is just go through the program. So here, create a program that lets you increment the speed when you hit the S key. So that's really easy, right? So here, if S key is hit, then what needs to happen? Let's say increment speed by 5. And then here, when the speed is greater than 20, you need to print out slow down. Okay, so let's check the speed. So if speed is greater than 20, print slow down. When the speed is 0, print out you need to speed up. Okay, so if speed is 0, we need to print out speed up. And we need to make sure that you can't go below 0. So how do we do that? Well, it's really simple. If the value of speed is less than 0, just assign it to 0. Make it so that it can't go 0. Set speed to 0. That's going to make it so that you can't go below 0 if we're constantly setting it. So let's start filling this in now. So we have a simple if statement. And we're basically just checking for the S key. So input.getKeyDown. And we'll say keycode.s. And we are going to increment speed by 5. So speed plus equals 5. We also need to make it so that when we hit the A key, the speed is decremented. So if input get key down, keycode.s. So here we could technically do an else if statement because we're checking for an input key. But to keep it clean, you don't have to. You could simply just do if A key, then decrement by 5. So here we have an if statement, and we have our input get key down. We're checking for the A key. Okay, so if you hit the A key, then we take the speed and we minus 5 from it. Now what we need to do is handle the print messages. So here, we're checking if speed, if speed, if speed. Notice that we are comparing here the same thing every time. This might be the proper use for an else if statement. So let's check it out. So here we're doing if speed is greater than 20. So if it's greater than 20, what needs to happen? We need to debug.log. We need to debug.log slow down. So we're going to say slow down. Else if speed is 0, we're going to say speed equals 0. Debug.log. We'll say speed up. All right. And with that, we don't need an else. You only need an else if there's a possibility that the values are not between those. So we only need if speed is greater than 20, debug.log, else if speed equals 0, debug.log speed up. So now that we have that pseudocode there, we can delete that. The next thing here is to reset the speed if it ever goes below 0. So here we say if speed is less than 0, then what do we want to do? We're going to say speed equals 0. Really, really simple logic. All right, now that we have all of that in, we can save this. Let's hop into Unity. And right now you can see that our speed is 0. We'll run the game. Now watch what happens when I hit the A key. Nothing is happening because it's constantly getting set to 0. Update is running 60 frames per second. And you'll see here that it's telling us to speed up. So as soon as I start speeding up, let's go ahead and hit the S key. You can see here that that message is no longer being called. If I clear the console, there's nothing being called. Our speed is now 5. If I go to 20, 25, it says slow down, and it's constantly telling me to do that. As soon as I slow down to say 20, the message disappears. It's no longer doing it. So this is working extremely well. And here, if I go back to 0, and if I try and go as far negative as I can, it won't let me, and it's saying speed up. So to get back to the happy spot, we just have to stay between 5 and 20. And there we go. Hope that was a neat challenge for you. I'll see you guys in the next one.